My channel is one that often tries to lift up these movies that may be judged unfairly by the general public, but in some cases actually are underrated gems that need to be watched by more people. Although it always comes down to the eye that sees, I think that you might agree with me on some of those movies on my list that they are in fact underrated. Number 5 on my list on this year's most underrated movies is Sympathy for the Devil, where you can see Joel Kinnaman and Nicolas Cage form a great chemistry in the movie. The movie may remind you of a little bit of Collateral. And although it is not as good as that one, it is still an entertaining piece. Nicolas Cage is particularly crazy in this one, and I really enjoy his character in the movie. I feel it is intense, it is enjoyable, and it's one of those, perhaps it's too dark for some people that they don't like it, dark or brutal perhaps. Number 4 on my list in the matter is a movie with the title Hypnotic. A movie that has been unfairly judged by the people, or whacked by the general public you might say. They feel this one is scuffed. But personally to me, I think this movie has an interesting take on the themes of illusion and reality. It has a story that's a cross between illusion and reality, and the concept of these hypnotics with these types of abilities is an interesting one. People may have not understood the meaning of it, because I think that they have been judged too harshly here, because in my opinion they have made something unique here that looks a little like what they did in The Matrix. There are also plenty of twists and turns to keep you interested along the way in the movie, not to mention Ben Affleck in top form, although some of you may think that his mid-movie Deepwater with Ana de Armas was better. The third movie on my list is called Hidden Strike, and in my opinion, it is actually this year's most underrated action movie. You got very good visuals on the desert, high-octane action scenes, where both John Cena and Jackie Chan are enjoyable to watch in the movie. It shows that despite his advancing age, Jackie Chan can still act, and it may be one of his most impressive performances in a long time. Surprisingly, I think it is also more exciting than a lot of higher rated action movies that just don't appeal to me in the same way as this does, because the bad guys in here are actually quite menacing, and that's exactly what you need in a movie like this. The second on my list is a fun little action comedy released not too long ago called The Retirement Plan, which features Ron Perlman and Nicolas Cage together in the same movie, which does not happen too often, but they also did it in Season of the Witch. Of course, it is a very ridiculous movie, but that's purely the point. Here you get to see Nicolas Cage as a hitman. That's a cross between Rambo and John Wick. A lot of these movies either don't hit on the comedy or don't hit on the action, but here I think you strike a good balance between the fun moments and entertaining action moments where Cage knocks down the bad guys. On the plus side, you also got some interesting characters, which really shows what you are able to do with a low budget if you do it right. The top movie in this segment and the title for this year's most underrated movie goes to About My Father. Yes, it might be a controversial one, but this is a comedy that looks like what comedies were made like before all the woke agenda came into these type of movies, where you couldn't joke about anything anymore, as it is quite vulgar in tone. I think that's the reason for the rating. But it comes down to De Niro's character, who is also this crazy kind of arrogant, proud, tough love father that he actually nails pretty well in comedy movies these days. This culture crash between the Italian family that De Niro and his son in the movie plays and the other rich family is actually what makes this comedy work and contribute to a lot of funny moments. Because although it is a bit downplayed and you feel it might have been even wilder, the movie has that balance where they don't make it too modern, but they don't go off the rails and make it too crazy either. Personally, for me, I feel it's De Niro that drives this movie, and he is much of the reason why it's an underrated movie. But you can't shy away from a very good performance by Anders Holm that you may know from Workaholics, so that should also absolutely be mentioned.